What is Whiskey Marketing School? What do we believe? I'm Daniel Winnington, Chancellor of Wizard Academy Whiskey Marketing School. I've been recently working a lot on sort of refining the written version of here's who Whiskey Marketing School is, and because it's one of those things that is really hard to explain to people who've not experienced it, or they think they know what they're coming to and then they take it and then they're like, son of a, this was amazing and I did not. And then you try to tell other people about, like, yeah, that's a place that's like a wizard and stuff, right? It's like, no, it's not. And so if you remember a little while back, I talked to you about character diamonds, and I built the character diamond of Whiskey Marketing School, and that is the identity and the sort of caricature voice, fictional voice of who we are, and it lines up most closely with Prometheus, the stealer of fire, the giver of fire to man. As I started working on that, I realized I needed to rewrite the voice of the website and who we are and how we explain and how our Psalms talk about it. And so I finally narrowed it down. I'm going to give you the practical real quick up front, and then we're going to talk about Jack Daniels, and then I'm going to read you sort of our new About Us mission statement as far as that's concerned. So if you're interested in Whiskey Marketing School, this is a good one. We have 4 levels. Level 1, 2, and 3 are foundational building. They're helping you create the building blocks for a whiskey knowledge and adding to your whiskey knowledge and growing your whiskey industry career. You can take just one, and one focuses on the general world of all whiskey, the 5 countries producing the majority of the whiskey, not by volume because that would be India, but that consumers are drinking. And we go into the history of all those countries. We do 2 full days of really intensive deductive training on the art of deductive tasting. And we do a public speaking training. There's a test on the written history of all of these countries and all of the whiskey facts. We do a huge segment on really high detail production from grain all the way through to the finished product. And we do marketing writing education on communicating clearly, more concise writing. And then we end with a little bit of just pure marketing guidance on market placement and education. If you finish level 1, you have a really solid, and that may be all you need, you have a really solid foundation to grow and expand in a whiskey career in any direction, or just a better understanding as an enthusiast of what you're drinking and why and where it's all coming from and why it matters and how to talk about it. We teach people how to tell stories instead of be fact bombs, right? You've heard my Wikipedia video, don't be a Wikipedia. Above all, we're trying to help convey the idea that whiskey is people and story, not just a litany of facts. Now, you have to know the facts, and so we teach an insane amount of detail and factual details. Level 2, we just aggressively double down on, we also do food science, food pairing, and the chemistry behind food pairing in level 1. Level 2, we go way deeper into food pairing, chemistry science, way deeper into speaking and writing and business communication, and then we spend all of our whiskey focus, deductive training, and history and production education on North America, Canada, and America. Really hefty emphasis on that. Level 3, we do an immersive dive into the UK, Scotland, Ireland, and some England now, actually. And then we also bring in Japan, and we sort of bring in some of the other, like in little bits, but mostly UK focus. And we go way further, and we teach a whole blending component in level 3, way further on marketing, education and marketing writing, way further on food connection, and then same thing, more deductive training, more production analysis, more history and story education. And then most people are done at that point. The only reason that you should ever need to do level 4 is if you really are doing a full-on career and you want to take everything that we've taught you about whiskey and set down sort of anchors into your ability to speak, teach, market, represent, analyze, understand every single part of the whiskey process, from production to business development to communications and marketing to coaching and tasting leading, authors, everything. It's very heavy lift. The website has the syllabus for all 4 levels. If you go look at the website, you can see a super in-depth syllabus broken down by almost by hour of everything that we do in level 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I'm going to talk about our soul in a second, because there's a lot of programs we believe in that are doing really great things, and we're one of them. But I'm going to talk about the way in which we're a little bit different and what we care about. But Jack Daniel's, this is what their series they call the Heritage Barrel, which is just sort of a single barrel collection expression. It's 100 proof year round, and this one is the Toasted Barrel, and it just means they did a toast low char combo. Barrel entry was 2017, bottling was 2025. So hey, 8 years old. Nice. Remember, in a barrel, char doesn't give flavor. Char takes away flavor. Otherwise, Brita filters wouldn't work, right? Charcoal doesn't have flavor. It's a filtration device. What's creating the flavor in a whiskey is when the whiskey penetrates that char and goes to a layer behind it that's called the red layer, right? And it looks red. Like if you look at the side of a stave, if I had one, I'd show you. It's a little bit of this like darker, almost, the wood's not black. So there's a part where the wood's cooked, but it's not charred. And it helps break down all the cellulose structure and give the whiskey access to everything it wants in the oak. And that's where all the color of whiskey comes from. That's where most of the additive impact of the barrel on the whiskey comes from. It's all in that little red layer. So when you do a deep toast, you're just taking that red layer that sometimes is paper thin and you're widening it, right? You're getting that red layer to be way wider and you're giving way more access to the good things that you want in that wood interaction. And then a low char means you're just less filtration, less charcoal. And so you're just changing the ratio of char to toast. And, char to toast. So what should happen is it sort of boosts up some of these like really nice tanniny notes and some really nice vanillins, and it should sort of soften things a little bit, but still have a lot of the body of the grain in the nose. Because you have less filtration even after 8 years. And it is, my prediction was going to be that it's a slightly sweeter but more body Jack Daniel's. And it really, the nose is definitely proving that. It is nice. It's a heavier Jack Daniel's nose than I've ever smelled before. This might be a contender. The one Jack Daniel's I really like has been all of their single barrel. I like the Sinatra one, actually. But their single barrel select programs, that's always when I'm like, Steve, that's great. There is a coconut oil and wood oil char. Not char, because there's no flavor. Wood oil toast, like oaky note in the nose, surrounded by coconut oil. A slight hint of almost banana, but it's not really there. It is a hard candy sweetness, shiny and a little bit brittle. Wow, that drink's really soft and kind of molasses and honey for 100 proof. Is it 100 proof? It is 100 proof. It's nice. It sort of drops off on the finish. On the palate, it feels a little spicy, and then it just sort of flushes across the mid palate and lingers there. It doesn't go all the way through, it just kind of lingers sitting on your palate, coating everything. I actually really enjoy this one. If I had to pick a Jack Daniel's that I was like, you want Jack Daniel's? I like that one. Get me that Toasted Barrel. That's great. Wow. Dang. I like it a lot. I was not prepared to react like this to this one, but I really enjoy this. Okay. Who knew? Okay. Who is Whiskey Marketing School? What do we believe? I'm going to read this because I wrote it 2 days ago, so I don't have it memorized. Are you ready? So this is just going to be me reading for a second. We believe whiskey belongs to everyone. It is not the property of a select few self-appointed gurus who sit in judgment from on high deciding who is real and who is not. We started this school to be the opposite of that energy. Our work is not about gatekeeping, it's about shepherding. Not gurus who demand reverence, but guides who share the fire, who lift others as we all climb together. What matters to us is the culture that we protect and pass on. Ours is a culture of inclusion, not exclusion, of generosity, not snobbery. We care about rigor and knowledge, yes, but only when paired with humility and kindness. We believe the purpose of education is not to declare who measures up, but to ensure that no one leaves the room unchanged. Experience is our great teacher. Facts and tests have their place, but it is the human connection, the moment of wonder, the sense of belonging, the spark of joy that makes our school unforgettable. And that is what we give people that no book or certificate can. Our goal is bigger than training whiskey sommeliers. We exist to change the energy of whiskey culture itself. We want to raise the standard of education so it lifts people, not crushes them. We want to raise the standard of marketing so that it tells stories worth remembering instead of selling shallow hype. We want to create a school that stands as a permanent counterweight to elitism in spirits, proving that fun, rigor, and generosity can all live in the same room. And we want to build something that lasts as an institution that 100 years from now will still be carrying people from outsider to insider, still turning curiosity into confidence, and still giving people a place to belong. That's why we exist. That's what we fight to protect. That's the difference between what we are and what we refuse to be. If that sounds like you, we'd love to see you. Cheers to you. I'm really glad you're here. If you liked that, then why have you not already liked and subscribed? This is the only way I get to talk to you, unless you come to school.